Welcome back to another episode. Diatribe and Squirrels. Diatribesandsquirrels.com. Like, subscribe, follow the link to diatribesandsquirrels.com for more harebrained content. You'll see same t-shirt, almost the same can of Coulter here. I wanted to same lighting, so we know it's the same day. I'm doing a couple of recordings today. You'll probably won't see this episode for a couple of days, mostly because I think this podcast, much like some meal portions, should come with a medical advisory saying, only one per day. I think the inside of my head is a very dangerous place that, should be moderated. And, let's think about this for a sec. Diatribes and Squirrels. Packed with the content that you should take in moderation. That's a good slogan, isn't it? Packed with the content you should take in moderation and with a grain of salt. I feel like there should be a disclaimer that I have a weird sense of humor. It's pretty dark. It's pretty twisted. But we're going to continue a conversation we had started last episode about airports and thanks again to Jen Eldridge for the topic, because it's a topic with a lot of volume, a lot of depth, a lot of emotions, especially anger towards it. Flying in general. It's been done to death by comedians, pundits, other idiots in bathrobes and easy chairs with a microphone. There's a lot to talk about here. And what I'd like to double down on, really, if I'm being honest, I want to double down on the section. I'll start with the section of the conversation that probably lost me half the subscribers. And by half the subscribers, I mean 5 little fingers worth of subscribers last episode. And that is those that require 2 tickets to board. I get it. Now, someone brought to my attention, again, thanks to my friend Neil for the clarification on the topic and for the talking points. Those that buy 2 tickets should have double the baggage claim because they wear bigger clothes. They should have double the carry-on. They should get 2 dinners. They paid 2 tickets. They should get 2 dinners. And they should not be asked at any point to switch their seats with anybody else if they bought 2 tickets. Now, there is something wonderful about somebody who has made, or where the universe has made a conscious decision that they should not be particularly airworthy, deciding to get into the air because the gravity seems to want them on the ground. But be that as it may, if they bought 2 tickets, they should get double the privileges. I know that some of you are going to be upset about this. I get it. Grab a hoo-hoo and your heart meds. Settle down, because your breathing is probably scaring the other people in your home. Because when you get riled up, the breathing gets a little more labored. Emotional charging is a lot of work on the heart. So just be safe. My idea, and this is really why I wanted to get this down on video before it left my brain in some paranoia-fueled crying session. The real idea I wanted to get down was, how do we tackle a couple of airport problems and airline problems efficiently? I'm always thinking about efficiency, and I had a little scheme up my sleeve. Here's the thing. When you get into an airport, they now have these wonderful little, measuring slots for a carry-on, saying if it's bigger than this, if you can't fit your carry-on into this slot in the airport, it won't fit in the overhead compartment. Fair enough. Brilliant idea. It means you can't feign ignorance when you get to the front of the line and your luggage doesn't fit. We know the dimensions of the seats. Why don't we have a little room with reinforced chairs where we have a couple of slots, and if a person is thinking, I'm not that big, we can test them in the chair. And if they don't fit, either they don't board or they got to buy a second ticket, if available. Because don't forget, they don't get if they bought one, they don't get priority. Now, should we let them off with the warning the first time? I'm not going to get into that. But here's my idea. We know that this will cause a lot of anger, frustration if people are not allowed to board. They'll feel like they're shamed. They'll be embarrassed. All of those terrible things. Now, the devious part of my plan is that, remember I mentioned that we're all bored for a few extra minutes or a few more minutes than we think we will be at the gate? Why don't we put a little camera into the sizing room and be allowed to watch the reactions? We can turn it on. We can have a special, frequency or site that we can connect to through a smartphone so we can listen on our earbuds, listen to the labored breathing and the weeping, watch the butter fall from their eyes. I think I could easily kill several hours because, listen, there's going to be enough fodder to go in the room. If you've looked around lately, people ain't getting smaller. So I think there'd be enough content that I would be thoroughly entertained. And I'll extend an olive branch here because it's healthy. If they agree to have the filming shown, and you make the offer up front, if you don't fit in the seat and you can't buy a second ticket, if you agree to allow this to be put on our content channel, our airport entertainment content channel, we'll refund you your ticket. Think about it, people. I've just solved a lot of problems. Goddamn. Sometimes I scare me. Continuing onwards, we never even got to arriving at your destination, Arriving at an airport is also stressful. First of all, on the plane, you have the morons that have stood up before the plane has even landed. They have that little button, little light that says, don't get up. Most dangerous portion of the flight incoming, which is the landing, so don't stand up like an idiot. And you have the people that are trying to push from the back of the plane to the front of the plane while the people at the front of the plane still haven't gotten their luggage out. Then you have the idiots that haven't really prepped to get off the plane. The plane literally arrives at the gate and they still have to put on their shoes. They still got to get the kids ready. They still got to get their passports out. They still got to organize themselves, put away the laptops and the tablets and the Nintendos and the whatever. It's this is the way it should work. When you're landing, as soon as you've landed, and most airports it takes at least 5 minutes to taxi from your runway to your gate, if not more. Once you've landed, that's when you make sure, first of all, in the flight, they've given you whatever customs forms you need to fill out. Make sure they're filled out. Make sure your passport's ready. Make sure all your stuff is away. Check the little pocket in the seat in front of you. Make sure you didn't forget anything. Make sure you know where your overhead luggage is. Make sure your things are away. Once you've landed, shoes on, tied up, you got your coat, whatever you need, such that when the plane arrives at the gate, you are able to stand up and leave once the door is open. Everybody should just file out like a bus. This isn't hard. So once we get through that level of head-scratching difficulty, you get out, you're in the airport, now you got to go through customs if it's an international flight of wherever you're getting to. You feel like a criminal, like I said last episode, because the customs agents, which is their job, they're suspicious of everybody coming in. You have your passport. You have that one idiot at the front making jokes that he shouldn't make, about bringing dead fish and cocaine and all sorts of idiot comments that they make. You have some people, there are some countries like Australia and New Zealand that are extremely strict about what you're importing into the country. Like they do not allow, because of their exotic wildlife, flora, and fauna, they don't want any external animals or plants in their territory. You still have idiots trying to smuggle in fresh food and vegetable, whatever, and they feign to not understand what the instructions were. Once you get through all of that, then you have to go wait at the little carousel to get your bag. Here is my advice. Black luggage may go with anything, but it also looks like everything. My father taught me at a very young age, buy ugly luggage. I personally, I'm going to have to replace it soon because it's not in the best shape, had mustard yellow luggage for the longest time. Easiest thing in the world to spot. Comes down the carousel, there's no checking the tag. No one else has the audacity to own mustard yellow luggage. So the uglier the better. And then you find out that, your luggage locks have been broken by whoever, an inspector at one of the airports. And that's if your luggage made it. Sometimes you're just left waiting there and the luggage never got on the plane. That's happened to me a couple times. When you do wait an hour with everybody else, you finally get your bags. Out the door you go. And now you got to wait in a line to hit your first scam of your vacation, which is the taxi ride to wherever you're going. Usually somebody's going to try and take you for a ride. There's some great, but you get a sense of who's driving who here. So you do have some good drivers. You got to get to your hotel. You got to check in, get up to your room. Sometimes the hotel room isn't ready. I mean, for an industry that is supposed to be about getting away from the stresses of everyday life, they do add a shitload of stress on top of your everyday life. And it seems self-defeating to me. I've gotten to my destination. Usually my, the time zones are off. My internal body clock is off. And I'm exhausted already just having to deal with the piles of dumb people and the processes and the inefficiencies. And then when you leave your vacation, it's the whole same thing. You got to do the fine-tooth comb around the hotel room. Pack up your stuff, make sure everything's away, check out at a certain time, make sure your bill is paid, back to the airport, and back through the same reverse stuff as you just went through to get home and need a week when you got back to recover from the week you just had off. Does anybody else see the sense in that it just doesn't seem like an efficient use of time? Especially if you're going to go with the family. I get it, making family memories and taking your children to see new things. But it's like the vacation's much more about them being entertained. And they don't have to worry about all the stresses of the tickets, the passports, the airport, the getting there, the getting out, the hotel, the reservations, the activity. You got to entertain them. They're just along for the ride. This is the experience. think there's a better way to do this. There's got to be a better way to live. Flying's got to be a better experience. Again, as I said, a people sizing room with a viewing gallery for people waiting at the gate would be a great addition to every airport. I think I'm going to leave it there for this episode because that kind of closes out a topic. If you have any comments about what I've said, hate mail, comments about my general insensitivity towards other people, please leave them below. Be happy to not read them. That's it. Next episode, we'll start talking the seasons. Have a great one, everybody.